Thank you, Craig. Good evening. Happy Christmas and welcome to the big show in town. The lasers, the pyros, the DJs. They've all been having their turn and now the big game itself. Episode 16. So much fun to be had on the biggest stage in English rugby. One element remains constant across the 16 big games held here. That is the inclusion of Danny Care in the Harlequins team. He's played in every one. I think it's fair to label him the big game player. He's one of 7 changes made by Danny Wilson after that lacklustre performance against Gloucester, a low point this season in terms of intensity and accuracy. Luke Northmore's back as well, Nick David too, as they try and unearth their true selves behind the scrum. As for the pack, it's had a 50% makeover. Lamasatelli, Herbst, Chisholm and Canningham all drafted in, and a 6-2 bench to boot. Well, another Harlequins legend makes a return to the big stage tonight, but in Tigers stripes. Mike Brown was the difference with a decisive try for Leicester the last time they met at the Stoop, and he starts at fullback tonight in a selection that Michael Checker has said was at least in part made by Brown's emotional peaks for nights like these. Dan Kelly's found a way back into the starting lineup. He's at 13 outside Kata. Jack Van Portfleet returns at 9. Ben Young's on the bench, and the pack, led by Julian Montosha, entirely intact from a week ago, and that dazzling Bristol performance that did so much damage at Welford Road. And there are the Tigers, humbled by the turbocharged Bears last weekend. Quins themselves well beaten by Gloucester a week ago. It was a performance that really was almost unrecognisable from them at their best. But tonight, the kind of occasion which you really feel should bring out the best in all of these men. Club colours on the international stage. Days for these players to remember forever.
Please welcome out onto the pitch, Leicester Tigers!
What a sight, what a scene, what a stage. Harlequins then at the big house with the blokes that they play alongside every single week. Special times for Alex Dornbrandt and co. More than a game, says Danny Care, and he should know. Beneficiaries, of course, of that short but uplifting walk across the A316. Just a Marcus Smith punt or so away from here. Their adopted home and hosts of the big house for the night. They've had an excellent record here. They've lost just 2 of the last 14 that they've played in this stadium. It's a day when rugby comes out to play. We mentioned the histories of these two clubs, their immediate histories. No shots fired by Quins at Kingsholm last Friday, riddled with errors, said their head coach Danny Wilson. As flat as we've seen them in quite a few seasons, I would say. And the Tigers, well, it's not every day they concede a half century at home. So they're here to right some wrongs as well. Under the watchful eye of Matthew Carley. playing across the face of Mike Brown, the home of English rugby, all lit up for Harlequins against Leicester in the Gallagher Premiership. The big game, 16, invariably tight, often dramatic, and very often high scoring too, so be ready for that. Quins immediately looking to get real tempo into their game. Entertainment written into the DNA of the club. It's the mission statement. You barely be able to see the ball in amongst the smoke from the Pyros.
Done well there, Stewart, hasn't he? Literally kicked into a cloud.
Van Portfleet burrows in and fishes it out. And here's Solomon Akata attacking the line hard, and through the gate line they go. And Kelly stationed at 13 for the Tigers this evening. We'll normally see wearing 12, but a change up he's happy with. Pollard to the skies once again, a tricky one through the murk. And the ball is claimed by Nick David. And then it's loose. And Leicester
knock on.
gather it through Pollard. Looking for a little bit of territory. He's very well targeted that. Not a great deal Eastgrow can do. Has to watch that carefully. Pinpoint accuracy from the double World Cup winner.
Ball in behind. Just has a look, weighs up the options, plenty of red shirts in width. No point in taking risks, put it into the corner and put massive pressure on a first throw. For Harlequins, get their drill right with all that intensity that's in their brains at the moment. They go right over the top to Dombrandt.
Especially in such a big occasion, there could always be emotion over emotion in the first few minutes. You want to get a touch early on and get into the game quickly.
Use it.
There's Danny Kerr organising at the base. Taking out a couple of corporate boxes, I think, for all the family members and supporters. Such is the nature of this date in his calendar. The carry from Cracknell. And fine tackle made by Herbst. A bit of extra support from Finn Baxter as well. From Portfleet. Early possession here for Leicester. Pollard brings in Stewart. Really been working on that attacking side of his game. The carrying, the distribution, that running threat.
Never release into the ground.
First penalty of the game. Going Tigers' way.
Yeah, silly from Quins, really. I think it's really unnecessary. Leicester just not going anywhere. They're not. Last weekend, watching them against Bristol, they seemed to.
Never saw hands off at the same time.
They lacked any sort of punch in their attack for large parts of the game. And even there, they're going through the phases, but they're not really going anywhere. So I think it's a little bit unnecessary there from Harlequins.
Obviously, changing that back row. We know why Chisholm's there. He brings that physicality. Very good over the ball. He actually did lift it, but the referee not happy with showing a clear release. But there will be pressure with no Evans there. Kenningham very, very good at the jackal. It's such a big part of Harlequins' defensive system to get those turnovers.
And an early settler for Leicester and for Pollard.
We know too well that he doesn't miss kicks on this ground. Unfortunately for England fans, he'll be happy with that too. I think you can get distracted this being just a regular Premiership game. He'll be happy to take that settler, an easy kick at goal.
Smith with a short stabbing restart, and look how well they've got up through Eastgrow to tap it back and reclaim possession. Green, Beard sending it wide. Murley slips through one. Murley taking his chances in the 22. Stewart is there.
Use it. Right, let him get down. Don't trap him. Quins don't compete.
And Portfleet calling for an extra man. In comes Rafael, give him just that little bit of protection. Kenningham looking interested.
Touch. Ball touched.
And the ball finding Smith. The dummy. And he's gone. That's the magic. And there's the score. Jack Walker's in. And Marcus Smith lights up Twickenham all over again.
Well, we mentioned before the game, Marcus Smith loves this place. It brings the best out in him. And it's a half-charged down kick, gets a bit of a deflection. Van Poortvliet has been charged down a couple of times this year. And Marcus Smith, eyes up, plenty of space in front of him, just uses that footwork, little jump goose step. And then once he's in behind, Jack Walker's just hanging around there thinking, if he gets through, there's no one around me in a white shirt. Smith gets through, Walker turns round, and he's got to walk in over the line for the perfect start for Harlequins.
What finish from Smith, just can't give him that amount of time. It's an actual poor kick from Jack. To nothing, it doesn't go off, it's not short enough for anyone to contest. It's a perfect ball for Marcus Smith, and it's also emphasises the case for him playing a little bit in the full-back position. He does it so well in the backfield.
Well, you've gone and opened up a can of worms there, haven't you? Because that is a big old conversation. 10, 15, Marcus Smith, Finn Smith. It's all about Marcus so far. 7 points to 3 they lead. And this capacity to conjure something from nothing, priceless.
The other thing is there to target the slowest player in the line. And we know Montage is a quality player. But maybe Mike Brown just a little bit worried about the pace on the outside. Gives a little bit too much room for Marcus Smith, and he goes for the bigger man. He sits down Montage with his footwork, and then he's through before Mike Brown can react and step back in.
Normally you would put the hooker on the touchline, winger inside one, be able to chase from the inside, use your speed to get there first, not put all the pressure on your hooker inside you.
Excellent clearance from Kerr, low trajectory. But
We've
again,
seen it here.
Footwork, remarkable.
Montage is just one man inside, Brian. You want Mike Brown, the man inside. Just when you're forward in that position, Marcus Smith running at you, you start running backwards quickly.
He is that priceless player, isn't he? That you just need to hang around near, there or thereabouts, in the orbit, waiting for the scraps to fall. Kata to Stewart, who hangs on. Here's Brown. So often the architect of Harlequins' victories in years gone by.
Let him go, get out.
15 years a Quinn.
Ball was out.
Joe Hayes. Kata, and here's Kelly accelerating. Excellent tackle made by Isgro. Hayes again the carrier, good transfer, changing that point of attack, and Cracknell carries it on. Pollard, space in behind.
See the strategy there from Tigers. They played a bit, they dragged Harlequin side to side, then they went down the middle, and then Pollard puts it in behind, but it all comes from perfect double top line out ball at the back. Impossible for those Harlequins players off the back of the line out to go. That preserves space in the wide channel for Tigers. Don't quite get it right on the end with Kelly, but really, really good line out ball. Gives them so many more free metres in the outside channel.
If you're the open side winger there for Harlequins, though, you should be reading that kick better. Pollard's done that twice now, and he's miles away from you as a fly half. You've got time to drop back off.
That's the old ball for Quins, and Caden Murley's the man who do the mopping up, just 5 metres out.
No, not clear. You went in, now let him go, use it. Hey.
And Kerr going the home side, just a little bit of light relief, a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, this is the kick here from Pollard. You see he moves up, Caden Murley on the far side, the winger. He comes up too early, he's got time, no go. I mean, it's an unbelievable kick. It's 2 metres from touchline, but I just think he can give himself a little bit more time, because the pressure relief that gives your team if you manage to mark that kick is quite drastic.
Cam Henderson leaping highest for Leicester. Good ball into the midfield. Kata, though, very well met by Chisholm. And the ball dislodged. Turnover possession. Murley on the ball.
Slightly too delayed, that pass to Kata. Trying to open up a hole for him, but he's a guy that can bust his own hole, but you give it him early to enable him to do that.
Smith with the kick pass, but Collins was quickly onto it, and then on impact, the ball squirts into touch.
Interesting choice actually for Marcus Smith, because normally this connection all season is growing. Marcus Smith has been on the money, but seemed really unaware the kick was going to happen.
Putting his arms out like that.
Obviously didn't want the kick, didn't want the pass in the first place.
We're outside the 2022. Jack.
Pressure on Quins
In the
here.
middle.
Leicester need to make the most of it. Certainly something they weren't particularly good at, particularly last week against Bristol. The red zone efficiency of the visitors was far superior to Leicester.
Hulking figure of Ernie Herbst is lifted highest this time. And Quins go to work on the drive.
Taken back.
See, Mike Brown's actually switched wings here, Ali. He's come on this left side. Obviously, he's so good under the high ball. Hassel Collins has gone to the other side.
Two fullbacks in the back three for Leicester, and here is Brown. 39 years old. Still relishing these big stages, these big occasions. Through they go. Cracknell gets his arms free. And he's lifted it away to Rafael. Van Portfleet, quick ball here, it really would have been interesting. They've scurried back to the traffic. Van Portfleet again, now the width. Hassel Collins, darting back against the grain, infield and to within 5. Van Portfleet probing that short side once more. Kelly, driven back in the challenge. Nick David, desperate stuff. Martin from close range. Now the heavy artillery assemble. Henderson waits. Quinn stray offside.
Got the freebie. They can use this now, Leicester.
Antosha lurking, feeds it back. Kata now holds it there. Pollard, some width. And now a score for Hassel Collins. Well worked by Tigers. Patient stuff. First the heavies, and then the winger under the posts, and back on terms.
Good from Hassel Collins, working off his wing after his initial break here. Go through the middle. Man who's been absolutely outstanding for them. The offload's good to Rafael. Rafael can't find the support, so just accelerates. That drags in a few extra red shirts around him. Kelly goes wide. He darts off his right foot twice to get infield. Beats 2, 3. Really good from Hassel Collins, and then appears in midfield. Lovely deception from Kelly. Pollard out the back. He's got Stewart on his shoulder, and because of Mike Brown's width, eventually they were going to find somewhere that wasn't defended, and Pollard had plenty of time to find Hassel Collins through the middle.
And the Tigers re-establish their lead. 10 points to 7.
Always slightly a calming situation when you get the advantage from the referee. See Kata here, he's so flat to the line, he just offloads the pass. That is where the try's created, is how flat to the line Kata is, just leaving the pass behind for Pollard. Pollard almost does the easy part in throwing the pass, but Kata's so flat, he has to take the contact and get the distance on the pack. Perfect for Pollard.
Good aerial challenge, and again it's Iskro they send up. Just brilliant aerially, the Argentine.
Just limping slightly off that one. There was a big collision between him, I think maybe Kelly, was it?
That's gone straight up in the air from Van Portfleet. Chisholm's putting some pressure on. Hassel Collins has it though for Leicester. And the penalty given up.
11 still holding on.
It's gone against Liebenberg.
Second one that Chisholm got his hands to this time, he gets rewarded. A little bit slow. Liebenberg just loses that battle of the 2 sixes to the ball. Ollie Hassel Collins has to hold on the floor for a fraction of a second. This gives Marcus Smith the opportunity to put this right in the corner.
Jack Van Portfleet was so frustrated at that kick, especially under Steve Borthwick watching.
On the assistant referee.
This is his bread and butter as a scrum half.
That is outstanding. Chisholm to get from the tackler, back round, compete over the ball before Liebenberg arrives.
Leicester, all step out. Thank you.
Now then, opportunities for Harlequins. It's Dino Lamb's ball. It's now with Walker, the try scorer. Tigers splintering here, and they've given up the penalty. Kerr whips it away. Smith for David, well met in the tackle. Strong work from Hassel Collins. Sweeping to that shorter side. Driven through by Northmore. And Stewart drops on it, back for the penalty.
It's a penalty. Hayes coming in from the side. I think he had to. I think something had to happen because Harlequins had managed to shift a lot of the Leicester defence into an ineffective position. Looked like they might be marching towards the line. So one of those penalties that maybe the coaches feel pretty happy with their team giving away.
I think Harlequins went slightly too early there when they had the advantage. Try and drag a few more players in, Leicester players in, give yourself more space on the outside. They just went slightly too early.
Once more to the catch and drive. As we were mentioning, this area. The wobbly one as far as Harlequins are concerned. Their red zone execution not as it should be, yet again. Iskro now back on halfway. Murley. Shaping up nicely, freeing up Beard. Keeps it in field, but not for long. Flag is raised. It's been threatening more and more this season. That one dazzling run against Gloucester last week. Just the one boot.
Just does enough, Stewart, doesn't he? Beard had the advantage as he was coming round on the loop, but just ran out of space.
First man tackle, play it away. Play it away, thank you.
From Portfleet. Rather better measured box kick. It's gone through the hands of Murley. Lost that completely.
He's on the body, he's not on the ball.
Fortunately, Finn Smith was there for Quins. Finn Baxter. Here's Chisholm, really putting himself about both sides of the ball.
Ball's available. Let's play. Thank you.
Care. It's a cagey battle of the middle third of the field. It's gone forwards from Stewart, and we'll have a scrum.
The first scrum. And this is quite an important area if we get a few of them. Harlequins struggled massively at Gloucester last week in the scrum. And Leicester, it's probably one of the only positives in their game against Bristol was the scrum. So certainly Joe Hayes will go for Finn Baxter here. Lamasatelli has come in on the tight head side. You do feel that Harlequins are missing the scrummaging ability of Will Collier, who left at the end of last season.
There's the mark.
Nicky Smith, an excellent scrummager, Leicester have brought in this year as well. This is going to be a big, big area. Harlequins well aware of it. What have they done this week to shore things up with that man, Adam Jones?
Crouch.
Just a cameo.
Set. Danny.
And Quins holding firm, it's there from Don Brandt to Kerr. And here's Smith on the loop, letting the ball do an awful lot of the work. The tackle from Kata. Danny Kerr caught and involved in the scrap.
9 and 7 both competing for the ball on their feet.
And in all of that, Tigers are the recipients of the next scrum off the back of a knock-on.
Such a
knock
difficult place to get tackled in the pitch because it's not wide and it's not narrow, so you end up with all your forwards not sure if they need to come round the corner one more or stay on the left. You're not sure who's cleaning. It's just a difficult, it's kind of a messy situation for your fly half to end up in off a scrum. It's not very clear for everybody, and you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get half a gap, but in the end he's not thrown the pass and he's not made a break. So it's just kind of left everyone in a second mind, and it's a really good turnover for Leicester.
The read between Kata and Kelly was quite good, wasn't it? It looked like Kelly was going to bite in. That's what Marcus Smith was hoping for. And then he was going to deliver the ball after he'd pumped it once. But Kelly realised, bounced back out, closed the gap.
Use it!
It was rock solid from Tigers. Danny Kerr is in there, causing havoc for Cracknell, proving a serious menace.
It's a bit more control.
From Portfleet,
Taking
looking
him
up
wide,
for Pollard. Hassel Collins, eyes to the heavens. Iskro claims it and is driven back. Really good shot from Hassel Collins and Kata.
Hold.
Gained another 10 metres or so as a consequence. Here's Herbst.
Backwards,
Pollard.
backwards.
Somehow got that away to Kelly, and Stewart throws the dummy, heads through the hole, slows down, wisely waiting for some support. Here's Henderson stepping on the gas, brought down by Nick David. Tigers in full flight here, whipped away, room on the outside. Kata, he's got Hassel Collins for company, won't need him. Superb from Leicester, started by this man.
You mentioned he's been working on his attacking game. He's so good on the burst through the middle, isn't he? When he sees that opportunity, it just opens up for him. Kick through. It's fumbled slightly, but it goes backwards. Taken by Kelly, offloads as he comes around the corner. He's one-on-one, looks to kick. I think it's Oscar Beard who shapes for the charge down, gets through. Really good support from Henderson in the midfield. Doesn't try and throw a miracle offload. And then they've got numbers on that side. 2 front, 5 forwards in the wide channel. As soon as they get past him, there's not much they can do on a 3-on-1 in that wide channel, but all starts with a little show to kick from Stewart and then the acceleration through the middle.
Good finish from Kata, and an illustration of the advancement, I think, of Freddie Stewart's game. He's not only been working on that running threat, but to show it on the big stage, choosing when is the right moment. It's a lively conversation, isn't it? Given the absence of George Furbank through the Six Nations, you would expect Stewart to have first claim perhaps on the 15 shirt.
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything different. I think he's just more confident as a player now in his ability and his running game. That's what we're seeing more of. He knows what he's good at and he's sticking to it, and that's what created that try.
3 kickoffs now Iskro's got his hands to. Leicester need to work a little bit harder on how they're going to get that ball back on the kickoff.
That's how the kickoff should be, Benny. A contest, 50-50.
Martin tops it up for Van Portfleet.
Good timing.
And in comes Nick David. Strong work over the ball. Look at that from Montosha. He's done that one-handed whilst being driven off the ruck. Somehow got enough of a purchase on it to reap the reward from the referee.
Leicester definitely getting the upper hand in the kicking game here. We saw the one before. Hassel Collins got a 10-metre tackle to march Quinn's back, and then Montoya straight on the ball from another kick. Something Quins have got to, they've just got to get in there quicker and control the breakdown quicker.
Their kicking game worked really well for them against Bristol early on last week, and they almost just got distracted from that with the game, the way the game opened up. But certainly you felt that was going to be, when the game was still there, still in reach, that was going to be their way back in, and they didn't. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more kick to compete for Leicester today.
Montosha, the skipper, picks out Liebenberg. Here he is again, the evergreen Puma. Heading to Poe, we understand, next season. He's made such a big mark on the Tigers, on and off the field. George Martin lined up and ready. Here we go. Heavy collision through that first challenge of Walker. Quinn's causing trouble, but
7 control
illegally.
in the breakdown, please.
It's an over-exuberant Jack Kenningham.
Similar to you there,
It's a
but you
great
didn't go
carry
on the
there
ball.
from George
You messed up
Martin.
the
He's ran
ball.
into
Stay on your
3
feet.
Quins players and still managed to gain half a metre, and just ride the contact.
On the line, please, gents.
Interesting decision, wasn't it? Just saying that Kenningham, because he counter-rucked and went off his feet and then disrupted the ball.
When the next player then tries to jaffle, okay?
Haven't seen many of those decisions given before. It is right within the context of the laws, but Leicester will feel they have to take advantage of this now.
Short and low to Henderson, it's loose. Dombrandt has it. Here's Kenningham. This is where Harlequins are so dangerous. Another show of the ball and he's gone. And he's released Murley. One man to beat round the outside of Stewards. Caden Murley for Harlequins. They've gone 90 metres. One swift strike.
Length of the field all comes from that line-out ball. Poor security from Leicester in their transfer. And as the ball spills out, Kenningham reacts the quickest, having given away the penalty. Boy, does he make up for it. There's the transfer, gets a nudge in the back. Cam Henderson loses the ball spills out. Dombrandt's already there. Leicester might just question whether he's onside, actually. But then Kenningham, timing the pass perfect, gives a one-on-one for Murley against Stewart. And Murley's always going to have that extra pace. Too much room, and Stewart can't get a finger on him.
I was really hoping we were going to have one of these today. Brady Stewart, twice in 2 weeks, he's been round, unfortunately for him. Burley won't be bothered about that. What an occasion.
The ball's always on the floor.
Yeah.
And then
Just great getting a try like that.
Thank you.
Such a big game, full-length try.
Oh, he's been in prolific form. Hat-trick, of course, against the Stormers a couple of weeks ago. Now 30 tries across his last 39 in the Premiership. Stunning numbers and an excellent conversion. And Quinn's right back in the mix. Let's bring in their attack coach, Nick Evans. Nick, you'll have been delighted with that. Classic Quinn's on the counter.
Yeah, no, really good there. But look, we've just got to deal with that kicking game. I think there's probably 3 areas there. It's around our kick chase. Freddie's got us on one of them, and then when we're receiving kicks, that reception breakdown's got to be better than it is at the moment. They're causing a lot of problems around that breakdown. So the kicking game's going to be massive, and who decides to win this game?
Well, you talk about the kicking game. You've obviously noticed the use of Rodrigo Isgro in that regard for you. He's become pivotal.
Yeah, no, he is. He's obviously got a super strength around the aerial game, and hence we put him down the middle. They kick their resets down the middle, and he's great for us in terms of getting the ball back. So this is the area here. We've got to stay in the fight around these parts and these scenarios in the game, and then wait for opportunities that we can get our attack into the park.
Thanks so much for your time, Nick.
No worries.
Good choice, thank you, Five.
To Pollard and Henderson, who's already been busy in the carry this afternoon. Van Portfleet through a hole. And through the challenge of Dino Lamb as well. Still going. Eventually Beard brings him down. Big old clear out, the ball loose. Taken in by Iskro. Here's Chisholm. Oh, he's picked out Stewart. He's going to straighten through the middle. Already pleasingly open this game. Martin. And another penalty against Quins.
In the first reviving players to clean you out.
And Jack Kenningham has to pick himself up.
The first
Guard slow into position. Baxter overruns, hoping that Dino Lamb's going to fill the gap on the inside, but he doesn't. Stays on his feet. And Beard makes the turnover. There's the little break. Good turnover here, though. Beard, does he let go? Clear release. He wins the ball. And then Freddie Stewart through the middle again. Plenty of gaps out there.
Kenningham needs to be careful though. It's a couple he's been on the wrong side of. He's just desperate to get on the ball, isn't he, and do something good for his team.
It should be one of the great battles within the battle here this afternoon. Jack Kenningham up against Tommy Raffel. Will Evans as well waiting.
But I will always
his turn
communicate to
from the
my
bench.
team when I think the ball is out, okay? So it's got to clearly still be in. Thank you.
Just the discussion there. I think we're going to have a look at the try after this, but A discussion there from Montoya, just saying, was the ball out? Was Don Brandt offside? He said, because it's on the floor, it's out. As soon as you lose control and it's on the floor, it was out.
Great reaction. I mean, Quins won't want to score all the tries like this. I'm sure they'll take it. But they'd like to be in better field position. But do you know what I'm most frustrated about here, Ali? No,
A
splash.
splash.
I thought there was going to be a splash.
Yeah, I thought that was going to upset you. It was a classic moment for it, wasn't it? It was all set up.
He played it, play on!
Cairn. Eastgrove. Popping up in all kinds of places. Smith using Nick David. Long in the presentation. Lamasitelli, veteran of a handful of Premiership titles here with Saracens, of course, back in the day.
Danny.
And once more, activity in the backfield, awaiting this one from Kerr. In comes Stewart.
Great kick.
Forwards and then offside, picked up by Van Poortvliet from an offside position.
Offside.
That is absolutely brilliant from Danny Kerr to give Eastgrove something to attack. And Eastgrove's control as he's running up to time that to perfection. And as we keep saying, for the poor fullback, they've got to catch it. The guy chasing just has to knock it back to his side. Pressure on, Stewart knocks it forward.
I think Freddie will be annoyed at that. He knows he can do better than that. Eastgrove's not got fully in the... it's a contest that Freddie Stewart can win.
Right where the penalty is, and I'm not
He'll
sure.
be frustrated, but I think Harlequins have to go to the kicking game, though. They've not been able to get any sort of fluidity or half shoulders into their attack yet, so they've got to go to the box kick. Danny Kerr putting it on the money has helped them get this field position.
Yeah, you've got 30 seconds for that then, that's fine.
So a bit of attention for Freddie Stewart. A reminder, we're at Sandy Park tomorrow for Exeter against Gloucester. The Chiefs still without a victory this season in either the Premiership or the Champions Cup, and Gloucester going well, 3 on the spin to this point. 2:30 from Sandy Park tomorrow, and the Rugby Review with Hugo from 5:15, featuring an in-depth conversation, we understand, with Rob Baxter on just exactly where Exeter are and the progress they're making. Gloucester haven't won down there for I think 10 years or so, so perhaps a great shot for Exeter to break their duck. And arguably we've got 3 of the best aerial players in the game on the pitch here this evening. Freddie Stewart, Rodrigo Eastgrove and Mike Brown. And Smith goes as hard as he can into the 22. Would have loved
get to the line of touch first.
4 or 5 extra metres or so. He's just added something, hasn't he, Eastgrove, to this Quins setup. A physical freak, incredibly quick, very strong and aerially superb.
Yeah, I'd just like to see him get more involved in general phase, definitely. We know he's got super skill with the aerial contest. I'd just like to see him get his hands on the ball a little bit more when Quins have got it.
Straight. I was just about saying, and I was exactly what Ashley was saying, Eastgrove had come off as wing there inside Marcus Smith, and you said Marcus Smith would have liked a bit more distance. Marcus Smith wants to play a bit, and they were so disappointed with their attack from around the 22 area last week. That was a prime opportunity, and yet again they've bombed it. The red zone's becoming a bit of a narrative in the Harlequins season at the moment. Silly little errors when they are one of the best sides at converting over the last 3 or 4 years from this area. From about 22 out, there aren't many better teams.
Just 44% their red zone conversion. That's a try or a penalty, which is an unusual statistic when we're talking about Quins and their attacking prowess over the recent seasons. Only 23 tries in their 8 Premiership games to this point.
Danny, get out, get out.
Storming forwards, trying to fill those boots that Jasper Wiese left vacant. Done a fine job of it this season to this point. And into touch it goes.
Northmore. I think he took a boot to the face as Cracknell went through there. He stayed down. That'll be a concern for
Stationary, you're gonna have to get
Quins. They know how important he is to them. if they can win the ball in the red zone, to provide that platform.
Matt Curley actually does a great job here in blocking, getting him get off the scrum.
I know it went down.
American football styles there from the referee.
Just might see an HIA for Northmore there. Looks like he gets a bang to the head. They're just examining his jaw at the moment, checking that's still intact. As you said, good bit of blocking play from Matt Carley.
Yeah.
There's a couple of players receiving treatment now. Lamasatelli also.
Right.
Is this a game now, Benny, where Marcus Smith, his current England number 10, needs to take control of this situation and guide his team around, put them in the right areas? If a certain area like the line-out isn't working when you get into the 22, needs to bring more confidence into his team and put them in the right positions.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought he was quiet last week when things started to... They started brightly enough, but the confidence seemed to drain out of them. I thought he was a little bit quiet, then got moved to full-back when Evans came on. It's not so much what he's doing. We've seen his brilliance already tonight, but it's just bossing the other players to make them do what he wants them to do.
Here's Northmore, restored, and muscling his way towards the 10-metre line. A little bit of extra distance on that delivery from Kerr. Here's David. Smith. Baxter tucks and drives into Nicky Smith. Chisholm. Smith, suggestion of a forwards pass, but Dombrandt onto it. Lamasatelli, oh dear, that's loose. And Northmore resetting again. Smith looking for territory.
50-22, Craig, play back in, all right, okay.
And Stewart did well.
Retreat! 12, come on, 12! Thank you.
Smith again, Stewart up early, and he's done him. And he's looking to get around the outside of Kata before drafting in support.
So now we want to see Marcus commanding his team where he wants them to go.
Racing back into position, he's left out here as Iskro threads it wider. Northmore controls and then sets off.
All backwards, all onside, open play.
Half court, Herbst, oh, the ball's been swept up
Very
by the
slow
Tigers.
Position, Harlequins.
Here's Kelly. From Portfleet, Martin. Smith. Crashing forwards again, the shot from Finn Baxter. Kata now. Oof. Forwards from Murley.
Knock on advantage.
Stewart chancing his arm, why not with an advantage?
Backwards, knock on advantage is over.
Smith now feeds David, there's a hole in the middle. Nicky Smith's over it, Montoya too.
That play there.
Came off his feet, the kick pass for Murley, and Hassel Collins wise to it.
No 12.
Cunningham drives it onto the 10-metre line.
That's past the breakdown.
Just wonder whether Michael Checker will be really
He
annoyed
must
with
release on the bottom.
Freddie Stewart for that chip
No,
over
the
the top.
player
They want to
underneath.
have scrums. They want to test this Harlequin. And as soon as you kick it away with just a scrum advantage, the referee's going to call advantage over. And if you don't get it back, you've then lost the opportunity to attack where you think you've got superiority up front.
2 hands and he bobbled it.
Whether it was that, we'll never know, but it might very well be another fine break from Beard. Smith is the man helping with the clear out, which is suboptimal. You'd think he's now out of position as they go through their face play, and Nick David pops up, slips through one, heads to the 22, lays it up for Danny Kerr, who's then enveloped.
Go. Back.
In comes Walker, options left and right. Smith for Beard. Oh,
I think there's head on head
Play
there.
on the ball. No,
that
on
might
the
need to
ball
be
for
checked.
me.
Combination of Kata and Hassel Collins. Smith changing the plan here, looking for somebody behind him. Cunningham's there. He's caught by Rafael, and the Tigers are hungry
All
here.
off their feet, keep playing.
Northmoor stayed down.
His beard. He won't be thanking
beard,
Marcus
yeah.
Smith anytime soon for that pass.
Knock on, balls out.
And it's now in
Let him go,
Tigers'
tackle!
possession.
Knock on advantage, stay back.
Matt, we have a high tackle by Leicester back there.
Nothing coming.
We're going to need to look at it.
TMO check.
Andrew Jackson is our TMO. That was his voice you heard.
Nice.
We need to investigate this double
Oh,
shot.
it is. TMO check. We're looking at this tackle.
Yes. Let me know when you're at the
Definitely
screen.
head on head.
Yeah,
It's just
right,
whether
right.
there was time to react for Kata, whether he's moved in to make the tackle aggressively. Swings a shoulder in. I don't think there's much mitigation there, actually.
He's the second defender in, but he just should be lower. It's got to be lower.
Can you see it in full speed, please?
Well, he's got some recent history, Solomon Akata. That's looking pretty clear-cut.
High danger, I can't see any mitigation. He's not bent at the hip. As actually said, it's difficult when you're the second defender in to bend at the hip, but you've still got to do it.
The tackle are quite passive.
Couple of red cards for Kata in the last 9 months.
The behind view, this one, you just see there's no bend at all in his knees.
That's fair. Okay, so Jacko,
Yes, mate.
shoulder is directly to the head,
Yeah.
and we do believe there's a high degree of danger, but I think that tackler knocks the player sideways, which changes the dynamic.
Yeah. So happy with that.
So we'll go red and we'll mitigate down to yellow.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, the number is
Number
12.
12, yeah.
Mitigation found, and Kata will spend just the 10 minutes off the field.
Changing the dynamic at the last second. Yellow card.
Beard has actually hit 3 separate times. He's hit by Hassel Collins,
Yeah,
hit
he's
by
on the mark,
Kata, and then hit by his
He's
own
on the
man
mark.
as he fell backwards.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be asking Marcus Smith for that pass again.
It's one of those instances easily could have gone the other way. A judge that the Ollie Hassel-Collins tackle changed the impact point. And we must remember that all these things happen at fractions of a second, so if you do pull the trigger, there's no taking it back, but I think Kata's lucky there.
He definitely should have been lower, that's without question. And that's probably what the yellow card's for.
2 minutes remaining at the end of this first half. Leicester playing with 14, and Quinn's
Stay out of the
sensing a moment here.
Have your line out, gents. As a free kicks, not much use to you here. Okay, so let's play. Thank you.
Tigers have done well with 14 to this point, but can they hold out here? Walker smuggles it away to Danny Kerr, and a short line, an excellent line from Luke Northmoor, securing Harlequins third. Down on his haunches only moments ago, now a big game try scorer.
It's something that teams don't do enough. Once their maul's going forward, to give it early enough that you can keep all those defenders in the maul panicking about it. And this time they do, and guess where they run? Right down where Kata would have been standing. And they run their most dynamic runner on the field, Northmoor. You see him there, there's no disguise. They know what's coming. Pollard's there, he's a big unit. But Pollard's eyes get attracted to Kerr. Kerr delays as long as possible. Forces Pollard to stay, and Northmoor goes between Kelly and the South African 10.
It's actually no change in position there, really. Dan Kelly is a 12, Pollard is a fly half. It's just a strong carry from Northmoor. Great work from Danny Kerr, like you said, but just the power from Northmoor to get over the Tigers players.
Doing his very best Andre Esterhuizen impression. It's one of the reasons he's providing that target in the midfield now in the absence of the big South African. Smith converts to put Quins in front. Remember, they trailed at one point by 17 points to 7. They lead by 1.
The only thing I'd say is, so often teams wait until the maul collapses in front of them and they go again and go again, and that allows defenders to get back on their feet and assist. Harlequins give it nice and early and attack the spot where Leicester are weakest.
I think if you're Tigers, you'd be annoyed. You just keep giving Harlequins opportunities coming to your 22. Quins haven't really attacked really well to get into those areas. It's off Leicester's penalties all the time.
Well, Quins took care of the restart importantly, and they'll be happy to head to half-time, leading by 1, thanks to tries from Walker, from Murley and from Northmore. Tigers with 2 of their own, Hassel-Collins and Catter, but a yellow card right at the back end. Very, very significant. Half-time at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham. Harlequins 21, Leicester 20. Well, the Premiership has been a little nuts this weekend. Sale nilling the entertainers Bristol on Friday night. Bath putting 68 on Saracens at the Rec. Saints putting 61 on Newcastle at Franklin's Gardens. Not so here. A different situation altogether. Don't forget that both the big games featuring these two have finished in draws as well. 2008, the inaugural game, 26 all. 2019, it finished 30 points all. So we have to consider that to be an option also. Long way to travel. And a lot of entertainment already under our belt. Some great tries, some fabulous moments. Nick David.
Onside.
Held just about timed okay, that challenge. Care. Tops it up, keeps that motion heading inexorably towards Leicester, and there's a huge shot from Stewart in the midfield on Nick David. Real momentum stopper, that one.
It's a cracking read, saw it from very deep. Stewart coming up in that pendulum defence. Leicester quite narrow. Brown tries to bounce off, but Kelly fills that gap for him. Big shot, just as
offside.
I don't think he saw him coming, did he, Nick David? Transfer
Lots
not quite quick enough.
Confusing.
It's a missed opportunity there from Quins. It was a clear 3-on-2. If Nick David can get the hands away, it's good attack from Harlequins. I do feel like Harlequins have been doing similar sort of attacking shape for a few years now. Whether teams are cottoning on to how they attack might be part of their issue, but there was an opportunity that they did manage to create. Nick David just wasn't able to hold his feet enough and get the pass away.
Too busy counting his ribs, I think. So 5 minutes to play out for the Solomon Kata yellow. Tigers with their 14, camped in Quins territory.
It's in 5. Once! Jack!
And Port flick, the box kick from just 40 metres out or so. Caden Murley claims it and sets off at high speed. Not sure he does anything
Good choice, Alex.
at any other speed, if we're honest. From Port Fleet, oh, that's another one that looks like it might have come off the shin. Murley's there again. Some interesting options being taken here, to say the least.
You've got to lift it.
There's a few that just look a bit rushed, don't they? A lot of thought in them.
David accelerating and just had to check his run there, Beard. The ball not floated out in front of him.
Really narrow here, Leicester.
Back to that shorter side go Harlequins, and East Grow is driven back. Burbst. No change out of the Tigers' defence there.
Taken back, no 50-22. No.
Pollard.
All on.
To his opposite man, Smith.
Inside.
Stewart gives it everything he's got, takes play back inside the Harlequins half.
There's a couple of opportunities there for Harlequins. Strangely, Marcus Smith wasn't asking for the ball. He pulled them wide here.
Front man.
It's a great pass over the top, eventually from Nick David. He sees the space, up the touchline they go. It's on the comeback though, they've got the Leicester players all scrambling across. It's on the other side of the pitch, they've made the space, but they decided not go to it. They are creating room, which will build confidence, that's forward.
That looks forwards by some margin from Iskro. Shame, because it didn't need to be.
Yeah, there are opportunities out there, as Ashley said. Mike Brown is defending really narrow. Obviously, Kata missing from the midfield for another 3 minutes. But I think if this goes to hand, I think Brown struggles to get back. Holding, shoulders turn in initially. He'll probably get there, but he'll lose a lot of metres back on the inside, and then it's all about the defenders on the inside and whether Quins could have caught Leicester with inside passes.
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, the issue is for Leicester Tigers right now is Hassel Collins has had to go and defend at 13. It's not a natural position for him. You don't have a very good understanding of how to defend, and there's a lot of numbers coming at you sometimes. So when he's had to go in at that 13 position, it's an unusual situation for him to deal with for 10 minutes.
Got Mike Brown there now. Hassel Collins a little bit wider.
The front rows have gone down, but it's there for Van Portfleet.
Stay on.
Cracknell with the carry. Driving into Kellingham. And Van Portfleet again from the 10-metre line, sending it up without the numbers. He's figuring the 50-50 isn't a bad option. It's well claimed though by Quins.
Nicky, be careful trying to kick the ball.
And here's Baxter, he's coughed up the ball. And Liebenberg has it.
Brilliant tackle from Hayes to dislodge that from his opposite number.
You can hook it back, but if you kick that accidentally forward and have to penalise you, okay, yeah, okay, just be careful.
Scrum on the 22.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Don Brandt calling for calm from his men. In the meantime,
Huh? Where?
time to loosen up again for Solomon Akata.
Huh?
There is space where behind Harlequins where they're trying to kick to Leicester because they're a man down, but
We want to play the scrum.
the kick's
We
got to
play
be on the
square,
money.
don't step to the side.
You've got to move players around slightly more than what they have been doing. You can't just kick it. Harlequins aren't going to be naive to the situation if you're just kicking a high kick. You've got to be a little bit more inventive than that.
Best options from here, Chris.
Here you've got to keep it tight. Dan Kelly, hit him narrow. I'd go Dan Kelly straight over the top of Marcus Smith as much as he can, get some gain line, get the forwards going. Just stay down here and burn up this next minute. Get Kata back on the pitch.
There's Pollard charging into the space, and Mike Brown was very nearly through. If he'd stayed on his feet there, that might have been interesting. Van Portfleet racing onwards. Tigers now with a really good opportunity, despite playing a man down. Liebenberg's carry. Baxter's tackle. Martin from close range. And Northmour's come flying out, trying to chop those attackers down. Cam Henderson wrestled to the ground by Herbst. Liebenberg and Martin, the ball's gone forwards. And the Harlequins pop it up, and they're thinking first of attack. Of course they are. From behind their own try line. Murley linking beautifully with Smith. Back to Murley. So far to go still. Smith, huge shot. Huge tackle from Stewart. The ball now with Hassel Collins. And Quinn's having to reset. There are a handful of bodies down.
Murley's down. I don't think Smith's fully recovered.
And then Kerr getting himself in a tangle.
Matthew, the tackle by Mike Brown with no arms.
Where?
On halfway where they turned it over with that inside ball.
Right, hang on.
I used to love this situation in training. Just play what you see in front of you. You've got to figure out the puzzle as you're on your run. And it's just the last pass, which is the wrong piece. He's meant to go one. He should have missed Marcus. It's a great read by Freddie Stewart. But once it goes back to Caden, he should have put it through to Nick David. It's all there. But it's good read from Freddie Stewart. He does a great job there on defending that.
Penalty against Mike Brown for that little check without wrapping.
Well, put your arms up at least, please.
Well, that was a moment that the Tigers might live to regret, but that is a tackle that Freddie Stewart might just be reminding Marcus Smith of when they meet up for Six Nations functions in the weeks to come.
Interesting tackle technique from McBride.
Tigers have Kata back with them, and Quins are changing their tight heads. Dylan Lewis is coming on for Titi Lamasatelli as they hatch their plan for the line out inside the 22. Up goes Lamb, and they gather round. And that look forwards from Kerr.
Advantage.
Now they have a penalty advantage. Quins Dombrat's moving back in the other direction. Little chip over the top. They're interested. Brown comes away with it.
Please release quicker and move away. Tackler 12. Alex.
Decisions.
Take the points to bang in front. Bank the chips. It's that pass you thought slightly forward, Ali. I tend to agree. So they come around the corner. I think it's Kata makes the tackle here and then doesn't roll away quickly enough for the referee's liking, and then comes and counter-rucks. I'm sure it's well.
Are they playing so early from the line-out because they've not got confidence in them all?
Yeah, I think so. It's a long way to go. I guess you don't want to get snarled up and turned over with a held-up maul, but it's that little mini drive and bounce out, isn't it? But they're not keeping Leicester guessing at all, really, with it.
Marcus Smith banks the three. 24 points to 20. Half an hour to play. Let's bring in the Leicester Tigers attack coach Peter Hewitt. Peter, your assessment of the state of the game right now feels like it's on a knife edge.
Yeah, it is. We're actually reasonably happy with things at half time. We just obviously three turnover tries which hurt us. But look, we want to take this game deep and just need to get through this little passage here.
What would you like to see more of?
Mate, I think we'd like to play a little bit more field position at the moment and get a little bit more clarity up front. Would be nice. Obviously, we get a good opportunity here with our scrum, and then obviously around defence, just some turnover reaction, mate. I think we've leaked 3 tries with no phases, so we'd like to work on that.
Okay, so just to tighten up a little bit more control. I guess teams like Quins, they can strike from anywhere, much as Bristol did a week ago. The same sort of threat.
Yeah, they certainly do, mate. They've got plenty of speed and obviously skill out wide, so it's just a matter of us, keeping things tight and then playing our way.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Peter. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
I think we'll probably see that here off this scrum, them definitely playing a bit tighter. The most obvious channel to go down here is Marcus Smith.
Kata's had 10 minutes rest. Go and make up for your indiscretion. Leicester trying to win that penalty at the scrum first. They get that.
Loose head out on the far side and across.
Finn Baxter, hips
Loose
coming
head
out.
And around on the far side.
I've seen this a bit from both sides so far in this game. Really winning the middle areas, allowing each other into the 22s, giving the opportunities. It's just Quins who've capitalised on their opportunities so far in this game.
See Hayes there, he had really good dominance initially. And you saw that almost caused Baxter's hips to come out, but then as Hayes lost his footing, Finn Baxter came back at him. He does not agree with the decision, I can tell you.
Stay there, James, thank you.
So a tough couple of weeks at scrum time, Finn Baxter. Gloucester gave him the run around. Here comes Kata at high speed and with great power, firing into that 10-12 channel. Northmore brings him down. Martin gets the ball away quite brilliantly.
Hands away.
Nicky Smith sets this up now. Cracknell for Martin again. Keen to use those heavy carriers tight to the right. Liebenberg the next of them. Everybody tightly packed into that little corner. Hassel-Collins and Nick David clinging on to one boot very carefully. Cracknell again on the carry. There is no width to the Tigers game here. They are all in small confines, and now Stewart is moving into the wide expanses on the right, but still Montosha carries tight and hard. Cracknell again. They're going old school here. Rafael van Portfleet. Pollard holds it up. Hassel-Collins, oh, very nearly the intercept. Brown, though, hangs on. Now they get it wide. Here's Stewart. He's waited. And now he's scoring.
Jacko, two players went for the ball simultaneously.
Yeah, they'll check this one.
The ball went straight
check
down, so I couldn't make a judgment.
how the ball bounced.
On-field decision is a try.
And whether it's a clear knock-on from Mike Brown. Goes for the intercept.
Same view,
Brown
Craig.
gets there at the same time. Looks like it goes back off Brown, if anything. I think this will stand. And as soon as Leicester get the ball back, Harlequins lost all their defence out wide.
If anything, that's gone backwards off the forwards off the Quins player.
Yeah, it's gone backwards. If only you could put that into a set-piece move, a 50-50 tackle. Murley nearly comes up with the intercept, but it pops up for Mike Brown, thankfully for Tigers.
Good.
They did enough to get over there, Leicester. I think they missed an opportunity. Had Freddie Stewart lined up with Danny Kerr for some point in that. Didn't go on for the crossfield kick, but got there in the end.
Tigers in front. The conversion is good. We have 25 minutes left to play. Both sides have scored 3 times now.
Any team can get down
having hit himself away.
Any team can get down there 22. It seems like they can score tries. Just once you get through the phases, there is space to be had and tries to be scored. It's just taking your time and being patient when you're near the opposition try line.
Change in the second row for Quins. Herbst is off. Joe Lawchbury is on.
Still got some excitement on their bench, Harlequins, haven't they? Evans, Cunningham South, Porter, all can bring a little bit to the party in terms of lifting the tempo of this game.
Yeah. Okay. Knock-on advantage. And the knock-on advantage is over. Use it!
This one hanging
Good
in front
contest.
of Isgro, but it's been stolen. Hassel-Collins did well. Martin lays it back. Montosha tucks and drives.
2 that Hassel-Collins has taken cleanly when Leicester have box-kicked.
Catter again, and the fumble this time from Pollard, and the hack through from Dombrandt. They're setting off after it, and Northmore looks to be gaining on Brown. And he's in danger of carrying that over. He's keeping it this side of the line.
He's not on the line, he's in the field of play.
Need to be careful that as they push it back, it doesn't go over the line. Otherwise, Danny Kerr can dive through and try and score a try. So they need to lift it off the ground as they pick, which is exactly what they do through Cracknell.
Marcus Smith is licking his lips in the backfield here. Needs to be a good kick from Jack van Borpleet. Not much distance, but he made sure it was in the stand.
Not a whole lot of breathing space here for the Tigers, and that was some sharp thinking from Dombrandt.
Quins, let's play. Quins, huddle.
Brown does really well to shape his body and run across the path of Northmore, heading back for the ball.
Crowd behind them. Chisholm for Danny Kerr. 5 metres out.
No, not
Baxter
inside.
arrives. Shut down by Raffel. All the Tigers alarm bells ringing though here. Quinn searching for a bonus point try. Kerr. Smith. Darting. Buffeted one way then the other. Kerr again. And the timing of that run from Dombrandt. Trying so hard to feed the ball back.
Offside advantage.
I think he's made his point.
Still playing. They've got the
Lamb
ball.
still has it. Catter's onto it.
No advantage. Offside. Yeah, but if you just place the ball, listen.
He's right.
If you just place the ball, it makes my life a lot more easier to put
He's
pressure on
right.
them.
But that
kind of
was a
behaviour makes it
deliberate.
difficult. I'm not going to reward that. Just put the ball back like you normally would, please.
Don't punch him with it.
But Liebenberg there, his tackle, you see the way he shapes himself. He deliberately falls the wrong side on the tackle, which is what frustrates Dombrandt.
Danny Kerr did so well on the break. Obviously, the Dombrandt punching the ball in Hamro Liebenberg.
Well, the urgency is clear. When you're that close to the try
This
line,
side of the line, okay, guys?
he knows how dangerous quick ball can be. He knows how much of a difference a split second makes. A couple of changes being made here. Henderson's come off and Portfleet's come off. So Ben Youngs is on at 9 with 20 minutes to play and the game in the balance.
We're now moving. Same maul.
Slow but steady. Kerr breaks away. Smith. Nick David. Well marshalled by Hassel Collins.
Good contest. No, back, Tommy. Thank you.
Back behind the gain line here, Harlequins. Northmore trying to change that picture. Dombrandt. Oof. Tricky one to gather. It was very well dealt with by Lamb.
Stay on.
Baxter. Some nice handling. Need that pressure. Yeah, that one's loose. Smith hacks it through, chases after it, whistle blown. Hold those celebrations, Quins fans.
Pollard up in the channel. Just forcing the knock on. I think Harlequin's just questioning whether he takes the man off the ball.
Along with your player who had hold of him.
That's fine.
It's Harlequins off the driving maul, not getting enough Leicester players close enough to the threatening maul. Just hit Northmore, go short, hit your centres, go short. You can't go wide too early like this. You end up running across the pitch, away from all your numbers. All the forwards have got to run all the way to that brook, to that next breakdown. Like, it's hard enough hitting a maul, Benny, than running another 20 metres.
Yeah, this is the knock on. This is just where I heard Dombrandt just saying to the referee, is it an early tackle on Beard here? Stands in the channel, stands big. He doesn't have to get out of his way if he's stationary. It's whether he wraps with the arms. That's what the Harlequins fans don't like. If he's stationary, he can stand there.
Well, it was fractional. Pollard knowing exactly what he was up to.
There's contact before he catches it, Matt.
Okay. Time off. Say it again, please.
There's contact by White 10 before the red player touches the ball.
A late
Same as what we did
decision.
there with the knock on in front of the ball, so it's a penalty.
It's gone down well with the home faithful, not so much with a certain Australian and a certain South African.
Well, you don't have to apologise for Michael Checker's language because he's putting his hand in front of his mouth, but certainly that right arm does wrap, doesn't it? It's a movement towards the tackle. As I said, if he just stands still, he's okay. But 3 points.
And the crowd helped that nudge that along. Helps having 80,000 home fans.
you could make the argument that 3 points is not a bad return here for the Tigers after the heat that Quins have been applying in recent phases. Not looked terribly incisive, but they've had an awful lot of possession in the red zone, inside that 22. Level pegging after 63 minutes. Unless we reiterate one more time, 2 big games played out between these 2 opponents, 2 draws. Eastgrove's launching himself nowhere near the ball that time, left that for Dombrand to deal with. Launchbury's being driven backwards. Will Evans has come onto the field for Quins.
Talked about how good Eastgrove's been at chasing the kickoffs. Ollie Hassel-Collins is giving him a run for his money here, and he forces the error again.
This game doesn't really feel like a draw kind of game, I'll be honest. I think there's a few more tries left in it yet.
You would think. Interestingly, by the way, James Chisholm is the man who has come off to allow for Evans' arrival, so they're effectively playing with the double jackal threat now, Quins, in Evans and Kenningham, both topping the charts on the turnover front. Catter, cut down by Evans, first tackle made by the new man. Pollard to Stewart. Nicky Smith.
Get it away!
In jogs Nick David. Mike Brown gathers it well. And Quins not rolling away. Ben Youngs is off on his own. Sets it up. The jackal threat dealt with. Quins, though, doing enough to persuade Matthew Carley to give them the benefit.
Position put on the floor by the Leicester players.
Ben Young's trying to put a bit of tempo on the game. It's a risk, isn't it, if no one goes with you? A little bit late to get to him.
Been sat on the bench there watching the game, dying to get involved. Saw an opportunity, but I wouldn't blame Ben Youngs there. It'd be the players around him. Got to get with him. The kind of moments I waited for, situations like that, half a gap. It's a free gap. Go take it. You've got to get with him.
Look how quick Evans was onto that.
Keep going, guys. Keep going.
So swift. Just has that great judgment, great ability to gauge the moment. As we see another change being made in the Tigers midfield, the arrival of Joseph Woodward replacing Solomon Akata. Dombrand can't handle it, it's gone forward, so Rafael can set things up here for Leicester, and I think something might be on the outside potentially. Here is Woodward. Made his Premiership debut only in October. Martin.
Ripped out by Quins, play on.
Quins have it. Lamb, Beard. Proving hard work to secure their own ball. Murley taking on Brown, and then the block. The goalkeeper-style block from Stewart, clever. Smith, well back behind the gain line. Eastgrove heads down.
Got to lift the ball.
Smith to the boot, little dab forwards this time, and Montosha comes underneath that for the Tigers. Cracknell, lovely tip on, and the timing was good, and now some width and some space for Brown. Smith trying to bat it away to continue the motion, and in the process Harlequins turn it over.
Turn after over, turnover. Nobody wants the ball.
Smith looking for territory and finding Stewart.
Play on.
Quick line out. Marcus Smith choosing to run, choosing to link quite brilliantly. Once again, a little dab forwards, looking to gather himself. Back comes Hassel Collins, and the touchline is found.
Play it down. Take a minute.
It's going to be a moment like that, isn't it, that will decide this game, you feel?
I think Marcus Smith wants this checking by the TMO. See who kicks it out.
Leicester ball. South.
Chandler Cunningham South.
7.
Onto the pitch for Harlequins.
Number 1.
Kenningham making way, and a change at loose head for Leicester. James Whitcomb on for Nicky Smith.
It's definitely the area of the field where Marcus Smith has looked most threatening today, in the backfield. Whatever he's caught and returned, has caused chaos. If you don't get the ball
10 metres, guys, thank you.
far off the pitch, he's going to come back at you.
He's almost perfected that 1-2, hasn't it? Pass to the winger. Winger half beats his man and then throws it back inside to Marcus Smith.
He went backwards. Play on. Use it. Ben.
Young's asking for just that tiny little bit of extra protection as he waits to clear. And Quins will have another crack at this from just outside the 22.
Could be a big moment, this. 27 all here. Quins again have got an opportunity. Any sort of penalty or it could be dangerous area for Leicester Tigers to give away.
Gone straight to the front, and Lawsbury. Smith now into the midfield they come. Northmore. Smith, Cunningham South. Big impact off the bench, tearing into the 22. Kerr flashes it away. Northmore bumped down by Montosha. Nice pick up from East Grove. Donbrandt was that forwards. Murley's away. Murley's in. And Harlequins are celebrating. And Matthew Carney is awarding it. Questions remain over that final pass. Murley thinks he's got his second and Harlequins bonus point try.
Well, Freddie Stewart's made a number of big shots, closing the gate on the outside before that final pass can be made. But Donbrandt, one of the very best in the business, starts with this inside line. From out to in from Cunningham South. That gives them the field position and the momentum. Great hands from Evans. Northmore straightens, holds in 2 Tigers defenders. And then this last ball, Stewart closes. But it's the excellent hands, as we've seen throughout his career from Donbrandt. Whether it goes forward, we're yet to see, but the delivery of the ball to get it away before Stewart arrived, unbelievable.
So for the moment, the try stands.
Tries all good, Matthew.
And Andrew Jackson's happy with that last pass. And if he's happy, the scoreboard will remain with Quins in front now. 34 points to 27 into the final 10 minutes. Make your own mind up about this last one.
For me, Leicester Tigers, Freddie Stewart's been in the end of the line far too many times. You shouldn't have your fullback closing so much like that, so high and infield. You can't give a player like Murley with that speed the opportunity on the edge.
Great speed from Donbrandt. Couldn't get the full rotation, could he?
Knock-on advantage is over.
Got the ball in and out of his hands before Stewart arrived.
He's good at that, isn't he? He's got a really good feel for space and time when the pass needs to go, when it doesn't. For him to be out the back rower in the wide channel, provide perfect pass. I mean, from here it looked fine too. If I was Murley, I'd be taking it all day. Just great bit of skill from Donbrandt. Just steadies his feet, knows where Freddie Stewart gets it away.
Oh, I don't know from that angle.
That's an awful angle.
I mean, there was something that just didn't feel quite right about it as soon as it was given, if I'm honest.
Did he check that angle?
So Finn Baxter has made way. Wyn Jones on at loose head for Quins. And further changes made by Leicester as well. Tommy Raffel is off the field. And Marcus Smith is playing fullback for Quins, as we understand it at this point. Jared Evans is on. Woodward.
Tackle, move.
This is where Leicester and area of the pitch, they just haven't been able to make much of a punch. They end up going in the same and have to go to the kick to try and regain, which is fine if you do.
Steepling crossfield from Pollard, and Hassel Collins did enough in the eyes of Matthew Carley to keep that from heading forwards.
17, stay out now.
Pollard again, using Martin into that midfield. Harlequins again, penalised for not rolling away. Still feel like there's a twist or two to come.
There's a bit of experience on Ben Youngs there at the ruck. Could feel the player hanging around the ruck, used all his experience to get that penalty, and it is a penalty. But a younger scrum half might not have dropped the ball as easily as Ben Youngs did.
Well, what a kick that was as well.
There we see the messing around at the ruck, snatched out of his hands.
It's a brilliant kick, bang on the 5. Couldn't have given Leicester a better opportunity.
Off comes Dunicare. A 16th big game, and a standing ovation from many inside here for his contribution across such a long period of time for Quins.
He had a little glance over his right shoulder as he was walking off the field and took in Twickenham. I just wonder, he'll obviously want to be back here in the summer with Harlequins, but I just wonder whether he thinks that this might be the last time I walk off this pitch. No decisions made yet, but it's just looked a bit longer than a normal player walking off the field.
Could very well be the case, turning 38 on Thursday. In the meantime, Emeka Ilioni with line-out possession for the Tigers. And they're heading for the try line very slowly, but nevertheless quite surely. Question is, where has the ball found itself? Quins have done a remarkable job. 3 metres away from their try line, they've turned it over. 6 minutes to play, vital times.
Huge. I think Dino Lamb was the man that got in, and as it rotates, he stays in the fight. Launchbury doing a good job as well, but they find the ball somewhere in there. Don Brandt adds his weight underneath the ball, but Dino Lamb straight in there. Doesn't change his bind, he's always in the middle of it, but they now have to back it up with this scrum. Massive scrum on their own line. Down in Coffin Corner, that right-hand side on your own line. Scrum half putting it in. Not a lot of room to break from, but you know that Dan Cole is going to try and rotate you away. Get the right shoulder up.
And he's going to have a right crack at Wyn Jones, you feel here. Dan Cole in his record-extending 245th Premiership appearance for Leicester.
Plenty of experience in front of Cole, right across that front row now.
A free kick to Quins.
The ultimate pressure reliever.
Sarcastic clap, which illustrates the levels of frustration given their field position, given the clock. 5 minutes to play.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
7 points the margin.
Leicester.
Charlie Clare, the new hooker, he's taken over from Montosha. Aiming towards the tail where he finds Liebenberg, and another powerful surge from Cracknell. Sweeping back to the left, the inside channel probe by Kelly. Youngs looking to work that 15-metre channel now through Brown. Possession, everything. Martin, driven to the ground. Quick ball, fumbled by Ilione. And Quins setting off on the counter again. Muscular stuff from Nick David. Here's Beard, fighting for every inch of turf. Playing with a knock-on advantage here, Harlequins. And Dino Lamb is dealt with by George Martin.
Enough now, Leicester, off your feet. Knock-on advantage is over. Both teams. Use it.
Will Porter at the base. Stewart rises quite brilliantly and rolls beyond the 10-metre line. Yeah. Martin. 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Little dab through from Pollard. It's taken by Liebenberg. Wonderful stuff from from Tigers, right on the edge of that 22 now. And with an advantage. Once more to the boot of Danny Kerr. There's space in that backfield. And it's taken up very, very usefully in the nick of time by Jared Evans. But still with the penalty, of course, Leicester.
No, he went into touch.
Ben Young's just asking if he can have the advantage of the line out 5 metres out so they don't have to kick it. It's a perfect place. Really good experienced play from Ben Young's there.
It's a great little touch from Pollard, because they haven't got many options, Leicester. They would have to create the space somewhere. Have your back rower chasing that on 77 minutes and catching, regathering. Good mixing it up attack from Leicester.
Two clever little kicks that's really put them within range now. They have got a good history this season of scoring late on, 5 tries in the final 10 minutes of matches. And here they are poised. George Martin, the focal point.
Joe Launchbury, has he come around the outside yet? Referee's given the penalty advantage to Leicester. Quins would be good just to snarl that up now and not let it out and take the penalty.
Here's Cracknell again. How tirelessly has he carried this evening into the final 2 minutes of the match. Excellent leg drive. Tigers bearing down on that try line again. Held back nicely, looking for the kick pass. It's blocked. Mike Brown was waiting on the outside. They do still have that advantage, and then the penalty.
What a block from Oscar Beard. Dives through, reads the kick, gets his body in the way.
Someone's going in the bin, okay? Discipline. Slipping around the side.
Launchbury, happy it's just a penalty. The tap and go.
From close range. Quins assemble in desperation. Here's Cole! He thinks he's there. Was he short to start with? And was that a second movement or just a placement?
He can still place it. He can't move his knees or his feet to propel himself towards the line, but I think that's quick enough to place it. I think this will count.
Was tackled short of the line. He's allowed to place the ball once. I'd just like to check whether he makes the line when he places that ball.
Looks good.
On-field decision is a try. Short there, he's allowed to place the ball once. And that looks like
he's still annoyed about that scrum free kick, isn't he? He wanted that try more than anybody.
It's a huge moment here at Twickenham. Dan Cole, in the 79th minute, has set up this conversion to draw level in the final moment.
That's it, perfect. Okay.
And who would you want? Who would you want sizing up this one?
That is for sure. Instead at the start of the game, he doesn't miss in this stadium.
Would you like the
Maybe
double World Cup winner?
Unnecessary pressure on him.
Andre Pollard. Quite possibly the final act.
Yeah, we will restart.
In off! It's in off! And the Tigers are level, and we will restart. One final play, 34 points each. It's been nip and tuck all evening, and the Tigers using the woodwork.
Never in doubt, was it?
Thank you.
Doesn't feel pressure in those situations.
Oh, what a carry from Cracknell.
Ball was out.
Ben Youngs hacks it away. He wants the draw, he wants the share of the spoils. 3 points each, and would you believe it, at the end of the third big game that these two have played out over the years since 2008, three times they have ended up level on the scoreboard. Extraordinary finish, and full time at the Allianz Stadium after a thunderous afternoon. Harlequins 34, Leicester Tigers 34.